I think that was the point, was to make you
Excuse
feel
me.
bad.
So last we left off, you guys had arrived in Waterdeep and arrived in a rather unique fashion, I think we might say. And you guys headed directly through the city to the Spires of Morning, where Valem, you know, returned quote unquote home. You met with a couple acolytes of Lathander, and kind of made your way through the spires where you met Sister, I want to say Selena, or was it Serena?
Serena.
Serena. Sister Serena, who, set up some rooms for you guys and was offering her assistance to you. And as you guys were making plans in a certain solarium of the Spires of Morning, you were noticed by a young female who attempted to flee upon seeing you. Valem, um, thinking very quickly, commanded her to stop, and you brought her inside where she had begun to maybe not explain herself, but started to give you an idea of what's going on, and you guys, specifically Valem, was beginning to interrogate her. Um, and I think that's where we left off. Is there anything anyone wants to add?
I think that's the bulk of it.
The crowd goes quiet. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, Valem, you were yelling at a young girl when last we left off, I believe.
That was never happening. We
Oh,
were
I guess I have one question.
Sure.
Did I actually get lost looking for a bathroom,
I mean,
or am I here with the interrogation?
I don't think. Did you actually walk away? Like, because I didn't.
Well, I said it offhandedly, but not really.
Well,
But I haven't like interacted with anything since the because we chased this girl down, didn't we, for a little bit?
yeah, and then you guys all brought her back inside. I think. Um, I don't think. I imagine what probably happened was like you started to look around for a bathroom, and then you guys all chased out, and you're probably just now realizing, like, back in this room, that maybe you have to pee. As Valem is interrogating this girl. But you guys are all together. You're all in the same room,
Okay.
and Serena is trying to keep the girl calm, and Valem is questioning her. So yeah, what are you guys doing?
all right. From my understanding, the last thing that Kira did is she was explaining these guys showed up at the brothel. They questioned Madame Celeste about where Ibrahim was. They went in the back, and then she was saying screaming, and then she started crying.
That was the gist of it. Yeah, she
Yeah.
mentioned that um, these men had come looking for Ibrahim, and um, they of course found him there in the brothel. And the next thing that Kira, the girl you're speaking to, the next thing she knew was that there were just some brutal, blood curdling screams coming from upstairs. And she's screaming and crying, and you know, Kira's basically falling apart as you're asking her these questions.
hmm Um, I'm gonna cast calm emotions on her just so that she kind of stays with me. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it'll
stays
work,
kind of.
but I mean, even then, like, she's basically at all times right now bordering on shock, just like the recollection of what happened. Like, she will answer your questions, she will give you what you want generally.
Okay.
But yeah, I just want to paint the picture here that
Sure.
whatever, she's obviously disturbed.
Okay. Kira, these same wicked people that committed these atrocities at your business, these people are holding my family. They have my parents. They have my sisters. So I understand what you went through is very tragic, but we need your help.
And yeah, she's basically like choking on her own tears, and she's kind of looking up at you, and she's looking up at Serena. She says, I don't know how I can help.
Did these people leave anyone? Did anyone remain at the brothel afterward to watch the place?
No, no, they just left him there.
Is he still
They left him and
alive?
he wasn't whole anymore. Celeste, I mean, the madam, she hired men to watch over the place, but those men, they just disappeared. I don't know who they were.
Have they ever returned? Have they been back since?
I don't, not that I know of. And like it's dawning on her as she's saying it, like she's now like starting to get scared because she's not sure. She's genuinely like uncertain. I don't think so, but well, why would they come back?
I'm just trying to determine their whereabouts, because I know, again, that they're holding my family, but if they've already been to the brothel, they've already done these things to Ibrahim, they might be looking for me. So I'm trying to estimate where they might be located. So if they're still there, I'd like to know where they can be contacted, where we can help you in turn.
Yeah, I think at this point, like she's just wide eyed and she's kind of putting two and two together that the common element here is not her but you. And she kind of looks at Serena like looking for some assistance. She says, I don't want your help. I just want to go. They're gonna kill me for talking to you. If what you said is true.
No one's going to kill you.
And like at this point, like she's looking at Serena and she like grabs onto Serena's arms. She says to Serena specifically, "This man, you trust this man? He's doomed me." And like Serena is looking at you, Valem, like, what have you brought down? Like, what have you brought here? Like Serena is just now, coming to the realization of how much trouble you are, and like you've just arrived in the city. And she says to the girl, um, "We can help you, child. We will protect you. We will keep you here and safe. Of that, I promise you. Would you would you like to eat? Are you hungry? Thirsty, perhaps?" And like she looks at you, Valem, and she kind of squints her eyes as to say, like, "We need to talk." And the girl is just like, she looks like she's still in shock. She's still panicked, and she I think she probably like rings a bell on her desk, and a couple minutes pass, and an acolyte arrives. Actually, maybe even a couple seconds, excuse me. And then an acolyte arrives, and Serena just sort of whispers to them, "Take her to the infirmary. See that she's fed and bandaged and cleaned. I will be along shortly." The acolyte just like nods their head, takes the girl, and like walks away. Um, and Serena goes and sits behind her desk, and she folds her fingers, and she looks at all of you. And like, what are all of you doing when this is happening?
I think someone that's probably standing close to Balaam, just with her arm on for support.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not
Beth is
really
probably-
saying anything.
Yeah, Beth is just kind of quiet in the background. I won't say she's like shamefaced, but she does have that kind of pensive, thoughtful kind of look on her face.
Okay. Bellion?
Writing something down.
Okay. And Alton?
Honestly, just leaning casually against the back wall by the door, but every so often my eyes are closing to see if Oz is in range for communication.
Yeah, and
Just to see if
I
he's
think
found
I
anything.
think what happens is I think that Alton, as you're sitting there and you're periodically closing your eyes, like in between, like when your eyes are open and you're kind of watching the scene unfold before you, you kind of hear a thud against the window. And then you hear a voice in your mind that goes, What's the deal, boss? I can't get in here. Ha. It's like, this place is a maze. Like, what?
You weren't supposed to get in. You were supposed to just tell me what was going on.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, I did for a while, and I got bored, so I came back.
Did you find what we needed?
What did you need?
Don't make me hit you, Oz.
He's like, boss, you can't hit me. I'm outside. You're inside.
I can summon you inside, remember?
Yeah, and there, I think you hear audibly, like, in your mind, like, it sounds like he's, like, swallowing. Oh, yeah, I'm just kidding, boss. Come on now. He's like, I went to look at the place, just like you said. Come on now. He said, I deserve a reward, don't I? I mean, I just don't want to get hit, boss. I just don't want to get hit.
If you tell me what you found out, you won't get hit. If you found out something good, you get bacon tomorrow morning.
Well, all right. I mean, yeah, okay. He's like, well, I mean, it looks like, kind of a drinking hole like everyone else, There's a few people inside. There's some movement. Lights are on. There's people there. He said, humans. I saw, like, mostly humans. He said, I couldn't really describe. You know that they all look alike. Come on now, boss. He's like, is that enough for bacon?
That's enough not to get hit. I'm going to be sending you back out in about 10 minutes to look for a specific human after I find out what she looks like. But I can't interrupt right now. So sit out there, be quiet, and if anybody tries to break into the place, let me know.
Yeah, and I think, okay, so I think, like, as he's, like, as he's sort of, like, floating away or whatever, I think you hear the sound of, like, O's, like, having a little scrap with some pigeons outside, and, like, you hear him giggling to himself, and, like, he's obviously, like, causing some sort of disturbance outside with some birds.
Feel free to eat the pigeon. Just be quiet about it.
Yeah. And now, yeah, Valem, Serena has templed her fingers in front of her, and she looks very serious. Brother, all is not well with you, I think. It seems that you've brought down a significant amount of trouble on us. This is worse than you had me believe.
Kind of squinting my eyes, I guess, curiously, and I say, I've been very upfront with you, sister. I explained exactly in detail what transpired.
Yes, but that young girl is telling us that a man was murdered in a brothel in the city, and you were somehow involved. And she's like really at a loss for words. I'm gonna have to run this up the chain. I
Are you implying that you think she said that I killed him? Are you really misunderstanding that much? That as far as what she explained?
And like she slams her fist down on the table in a great fury. She says, "You will not speak to me in my office, such as that." And like there's like a wave across the room, like all of you feel this powerful, like actual wave of energy when she does it. And she like pulls her hands back and she breathes. Forgive my outburst, brother. And like you can tell, like she's clenching her teeth. I'm
clenching mine as well.
Yeah.
I'm not even hiding it.
And she's like, I wasn't implying that you murdered anyone, but you are involved. Your actions, it seems, led to this outcome. And
No, ma'am. His actions did not lead to this. This was my doing.
No, it was no more his.
I brought this on us.
I believe we can firmly lay this on the feet of the Zentarum. Thank you.
I told you
it was
very clearly that the Zentarum were involved in this, that they were involved in drugs and slavery, and that they had nearly destroyed the Icewing family in Baldur's Gate, and that this followed us because I was a companion of Celinda Icewing. This was all relayed to you. You knew this in advance. You didn't want to hear the name Zentarum because it was so bad. And now you're surprised that the Zentarum is acting in this way? This is very surprising. I'll be quite honest. I'm beginning to question me even coming to you for assistance if this is the way you're going to react. I'm astounded that the church would look at one of their own in this manner. This is insane.
And she says, she tries to stay calm. It's obviously extremely difficult. So you're saying the responsibility of this has nothing to do with you? Did you played no part in this?
My part is the resolution of it, and I've told you what I plan on doing. If you don't wish to be a part of it, then that's all you need to say, and I will leave immediately.
That might be for the best then.
I immediately turn and walk out.
Okay.
Slinda's a little dumbfounded right now.
Okay. Are you guys all following?
Yeah.
Stay behind for a moment.
Beth hesitates too, and she's gonna look at Belly and just kind of questioningly, like,
Don't make it worse,
It'll be
Bellion.
fine. Don't worry.
she's gonna look at Serena. You may not have faith in him, but I've seen what he can do, and I've seen the light of Lathander back him 1,001 times. Can you say the same thing? And she's gonna walk out.
Okay. Belly?
After everyone leaves, I'm going to go, what did you send him out to do?
Send who out? Balaam?
Balaam, what is his mission? Because this makes no sense. They have not made any demands. They're holding hostages. This makes no sense whatsoever. This seems like something larger.
This.
What was he doing?
Yeah, and I think she sort of like looks up to you, Bellion, and she says, "This. Who are you?"
That is none of your concern. What was he doing?
Get out. And she just points at the door.
Oh, you don't want to take responsibility. That's very well. It was your fault, whatever you sent him out to do. I'm sure of it at this point. They've made no demands. So it is you're involved. You just leave.
Okay. All right, so where do you guys go? What do you do?
Once we get out, I guess towards the entrance exit, I want to be somewhere that we can collectively be without a lot of foot traffic coming back and forth before leaving. So as soon as I can group everyone together with that.
Okay, sure. So you want to be like kind of off to your like, you said like little foot traffic. You're not going to have people like creeping on you is what you're looking for.
Exactly, just somewhere off to the side, even in a hall or something like that, just that I can get the group together without a lot of foot traffic, people walking past us or anything like that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're familiar enough with this place. Excuse me. From your training and all your time spent here, that
Yeah.
you could easily find some place where you know that there's usually little foot traffic. Sure.
This is exactly why I wanted to go somewhere isolated. We can't be anywhere near anyone in town. We have no idea who is looking to work against us in this capacity. I don't wish to discuss anything further about what's happening until we can get isolated. I know some of you were questioning my opinion of the beach, but from the sands, we can tell if we're being watched. We can tell if someone is invisible walking up on us because of the motions of the sand.
Yes.
I would advise that we go to the beach to discuss things further.
I mean, it
I
makes
think you may be right.
sense.
I can easily make a place they cannot see in as well if you so desired when we're there.
Well, it'll be hard for them to sneak up on us without any outbuildings or anything. So,
I admit I thought the place where you were from would probably be more secure than an open beach, but judging from what we just saw, they're part of the problem, no offense.
why do the clerics all hate us?
Well, this could be any given things. It could be that she's just worked in an office all her life and she really doesn't know how things operate, and she just hears buzzwords like Zentarum and reacts accordingly. Or just like in Baldur's Gate, they got to her just like they got to the magistrate there. So again, until we understand what's happening here, we can't trust anyone.
Well, I like the idea of the beach. I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds like death. Let's go.
Lead the way.
Should we at least look the part when we go? I wouldn't mind getting a bathing suit.
Didn't we agree it's like mid-60s?
It is.
Yeah, Beth's gonna look at some that it's a little cold for swimming.
What are you talking
White
about? It is
dragon
warm.
deer.
It is amazing out.
It is wonderful out.
While I'm sure it'd be nice to get some sand between your toes, there is a mission at hand as well. So perhaps
Yes, I know.
perhaps we don't take a shopping trip right now. So again, if we can go,
If you wanted to go
Right.
shopping, I would suggest more disguises than actual clothing.
Well, I can alter self, so
You would look the same even without those clothes. Every time. You're too flamboyant. People will see right through it.
I don't think so.
Look at your dress.
Let's get to the beach.
Yeah.
I figure we're
And I'm
walking
gonna-
to the beach as we argue.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
figured we're arguing about.
I mean,
fashion
if we
sense.
stopped to argue every friggin' time we were walking somewhere, we'd never get anywhere.
Yeah.
It's more Beth's more saying stop arguing, it's gonna draw attention, just move. Because I'm sorry, Celinda and Bellion are fairly unique looking peoples. We're
They
probably
really
turning
are.
a few heads anyway.
Fair
Which-
enough.
Gives me an idea actually.
I do tend to turn heads.
Okay. So are you heading to the beach then?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I described earlier, like it's like early afternoon. By this point, it's maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. Afternoon, 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so. As you kind of come upon the beach, you see that there are long. There's a couple of long piers for people to walk and maybe do some fishing. There's nicely sloped declines that that you can use to walk down to the sand. There are people here, of course. A lot of them are dressed like warmly. There's like more than a few like upper class nobles who are walking up and down the beach, like taking a nice afternoon stroll along the beach. Several of whom have like the women have like parasols, or they have like a butler or a handmaiden like not far behind with like a picnic basket or an extra like blanket or what have you. But it's definitely not like a hot summer day in like Fort Lauderdale. Like it's not packed by any stretch.
Yeah, so I'd like to find a place, obviously away from everyone, preferably like in the center of the sand where we can see kind of 360 around us,
Sure. Okay.
and then that's kind of where we park.
Do you want a hut?
I think that might draw more attention to us than necessary.
Yeah.
I don't think we need that. Perhaps another time.
Okay. And I start covering my mouth as I talk. You never know.
Okay.
All right. So to recap what we know, obviously I kind of relayed that Alistair told me my family's being held by the Zentarum. We know the Zentarum is directly involved. There is a man by the name of Aldo that has taken over my family's inn and is running in the guise of an actual innkeeper. The place is apparently swarming with Zentarum, and they're holding my family, and they keep one of my sisters hidden. She may not even be in the same building, so that's something we need to be cautious of. If my family is obviously still being captive after the arrest and subsequent death of Magnus Mendelssohn, there has to be other motivation for the Zenturum's involvement other than just being under the employ of the Mendelssohn clan. The only other connection that I can think of, if any of you have additional ideas, is that Ghost was a target of the Zenturum as well. So they'll
He
likely be
obviously
looking for
was.
any of us who traveled with him.
I don't
I
believe so.
don't. I don't think that's it though.
They seem to be spending a lot of resources for one man that we've
Ghost-
supposedly told them we or don't associate with anymore.
Venom?
Ghost wasn't a Zentarum, but they wouldn't be chasing us down for that. I don't think.
Did he
Villain.
take something?
Well, I'm sure what led them here was they were looking for Ibrahim, like as we were kind of cautious of when we first dropped Ibrahim and Casper off. I'm sure that he made contact in some capacity with the Mendelssohns, and that's why they came up here looking for him. Now, why they would have killed him, I'm not sure.
I don't
That's
think they
something we're going to
killed
have
him.
to look into.
I have an idea that you may not like. They're holding hostages and haven't made you any demands. They just want you here.
It's true.
Well, I know. Again, yeah. Those of us who, and it kind of leads back to what I said in reference to Ghost. They're looking for those of us who traveled with him.
Unlikely.
Could this have anything to do
Hey,
with
look-
that Zentarum woman?
Kella. That bitch.
What was she doing when you met her first?
Cowering.
They were trying to take over Nightstone. That's why the
Wow.
Zentarum showed up.
How?
We killed her friend as well.
They basically tried to break into Nightstone and take it over.
What were you doing after that? Like, they want you here instead of wherever you were going.
Well, there isn't anything in Nightstone I don't think that they want anymore.
I don't think they were involved with the ordering, if that's what you're implying. I think they were just looking for a stage of operations for this
The
for the
Zentarum
Zentarum.
are evil. They
Again, they have no reason to keep your family alive unless they want something.
Well, then maybe we
Either
should
they
find
make a
out what they
demand-
want.
You've asked with your family. They didn't want
Perhaps
anything.
we should talk to Miyuki.
They may just want revenge, just like
If they wanted revenge, they'd be dead.
Well, I think Celinda kind of touched on it. We know that Alistair has a contact here. Does anyone know how to contact her?
Beth has seen her.
Yeah, but in a city this large, I wouldn't know how to find her again.
Well, she's apparently at your family's inn, isn't she? We need to contact her somehow.
what if I went to the inn?
I can go to the inn. I could just cast Alter Self on myself, and they won't know who I am.
There's a chance of them seeing through the magic, though. This is a large organization.
Not with
They're not
Alter
going-
Self.
Well, Reginald, Bellion, and Alton have never been seen with myself or my family.
Until
So
now.
even if they were to go as a team so that none of them are obviously alone, that might be for the best and kind of test the waters.
Have we
And
heard
Reginald-
from O's?
Reginald, being, I guess, closer to my father's age, might even pretend to be a friend of his and maybe ask around, ask where he's at. That inn's been open for 20 years. I'm sure there are regulars and friends of our family that are curious about why they just suddenly disappeared. I'm sure somebody knows something.
Would I know anything about how the Zentarum operate, given that I've been hunting them, or at least hunting some of their members?
Yeah, you need to make a roll.
Yeah.
I think probably an intelligence roll.
Okay. Let's hope.
So I mean,
That's a good start.
yeah, I mean,
Great start.
it's yeah. All you know is about, like, you have almost no information even about your target. You just know that you're hunting it. Beyond that, I mean, that's really all that information you've been given. 'Cause
Fair enough.
generally, like, that's all the information you've needed up until now.
What about Celinda? Would she know much about how they operate, considering Ghost used to be a member?
I mean, yeah, would
Did
I mean,
travel with him for like a year.
yeah, but would he have talked about that stuff?
Well, Corey did say that he told her a lot about his backstory and shit, so I would imagine that he talked about it at least a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, you can roll me an intelligence check. Yeah, so Ghost told Celinda quite a bit. I mean, the thing is, the Zentarum, especially in recent years, has been expanding its operations. Um, they're a very opportunistic group. You know, when there's an opening, they go for it. Um, but yeah, like I've described before, think of it as kind of a syndicate or a mafia style thing. Like they do what needs done to get the job done.
Mhm.
That doesn't always mean just straight murdering people. Sometimes there's other ways around. But in this specific instance, you can't really necessarily discern you don't have enough information to go on about what it is that they're trying to accomplish yet.
Mhm. Could it be possible that they just don't know about what happened to Baldur's Gate yet?
That's a
I
possibility.
mean, we did get here fast
We
compared
got
to.
here,
Yeah.
yeah, like 2
They
days after Mendelssohn was murdered.
they could just be content with running a successful business as well.
Or
They
just
could.
do we know if they already have a foothold in Waterdeep, or are they just trying to establish one? Are they taking this as an opportunity?
It
Well,
seems
there's an
awfully convenient that they would choose this avenue to get a foothold,
yeah.
considering our past run-ins. Valem, should somebody try and make contact with your sister at the inn?
Well, this is what I'm thinking, and I think there is a lot of. Is there anyone else that can cast sending other than myself?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, because I think we kind of missed an opportunity prior to coming here. I think we need to try to get a hold of Alistair and see how we can contact his
Maybe.
contact. Basically, I think
Her
that he'd
name
be
is
able to tell us
Miyuki.
something. The next part is Asher. And as you've seen, getting assistance in this town is going to take some work. And I think we need to have the law on our side. If we can have Asher Hayden send the criminal reports from the Mendelssohn clan to the Waterdavian magistrate, illustrating everything: the drug trade, the slavery ring, the travesties with Celinda's family, the alleged rape of the former magistrate. All this information would make it easier to connect the Mendelssohns and their crimes to this interim here that have kidnapped my family and apparently murdered Ibrahim.
Assuming
So
it got into the right hands and it doesn't
again,
just.
yeah, we're kind of at that mercy, but if we can at least get Asher to assist us in some capacity, it certainly couldn't hurt. Um,
That might take a while, though.
And given
True.
how
That
he
would.
reacted when he and I were talking at dinner about the level of competence in both Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate, I don't think they really talk much. It's just
I
rumor.
really don't. Asher didn't seem like he had any faith in Boulder Gate or in Waterdeep's political system.
well, it's not a matter of helping them out; it's a matter of assisting us getting a foothold that we need. And if the law is working against us, it's just going to make things that much more difficult. I just, like I said, it's just an idea. It's a thought.
I'm not against asking him maybe if he knows the right people first.
Mhm. Now,
I
as far as contacting my family, I did speak with my father about a week or so ago, and he was pretty adamant about me staying away. So I don't really want to involve them until we're ready for the actual rescue itself, especially if one of my sisters is being held somewhere else. Um, Hopefully it doesn't come to this, but if at some point we have to split the party to perform this rescue, um, obviously I don't want to endanger anyone specific, but Celinda and Beth, I know that you guys have dealt with my sisters. They know you, and perhaps if the two of you went after my sister that's being held separate, while the rest of us go after my family that's being kept at the inn, it might make her feel better. It might make her to see a familiar face. It might help.
Absolutely.
But again,
Would you still like us to check out the inn
yes, yeah,
today before word spreads of?
yeah, absolutely. And again, the three of you that haven't been seen there before, I think that would probably be the best. Again, so that none of you are alone. The rest of us might want to go to Celeste's brothel. Maybe see if we can speak with Madame Celeste herself, or I mean, that could just be a dead end if they all act the same way Kira did.
If I try and pretend to be a friend of your father's, is there something or someone I could mention that he would know?
Well,
Like, because obviously I'm going to be a stranger to him, so.
prior to the inn being established and a lot of people opening up, selling wares and things like that, he was into fishing and hunting along with some of the people that worked for him. So perhaps you used to go hunting with him. You're just an old friend that used to hunt with him.
I think he's more
Just-
concerned that if he runs into your father, how does he portray that he is actually an ally?
Oh, to my father.
Yeah, something I could say to him that he wouldn't just go, wait, who the fuck are you?
I could send him a message in advance. I'm sure he won't be happy, but it'll at least give him an idea.
Are there any ways into that inn besides the front door?
There's
You
a
know,
service door in the back, likely one in the kitchen for garbage.
Anything really small? Like, say, rat-sized?
No doggy doors or anything like that.
Unless somebody left a window open, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Could
Yeah,
you
'cause-
draw a map?
Yeah.
Sure. I could draw a map of the place.
If you draw a map of the place, I can be anywhere you want in there with one other
So
person.
could I.
And Oz said there were quite a few people in there, and if the Zentarum are using it for anything, I have no way of telling who's just there and who's there to keep an eye on the place. Not to mention, you haven't told me what any of your family looks like, so Oz had no idea what to look for.
Well,
I could
start
change
to
it
give
to your sister so
I
he
start
can
to give
tell.
I started to give a very elaborate description of my family, including Casper, and so that they look like this.
The generic NPCs.
Can I use change appearance or my alter self to change my appearance as he's describing these people to just like change into his sisters?
And I draw very detailed pictures of the inn itself, both inside and out.
Well, we have sand and a stick, so.
Yeah, you get some rocks. Yeah, you're good to go.
We build a sandcastle of the inn.
I'm gonna
Actually, could
literally
we do that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna draw it out. Like I'm gonna be like you can tell me all the dimensions, I'll draw it out. Just so I ever know what it looks like from the inside.
Okay, so what's the plan?
I don't think all three of us, if we go in there, we should go together.
That might look suspicious.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit.
agree with
and
that.
I stand out a little bit. Perhaps I should change my look a little.
Do sailors ever go to your family's?
It's a bit far from the.
Oh, yeah,
it's,
again.
it's in the North Ward. It's pretty much right in the center, smack dab of the North Ward. They
Yeah,
do.
I think it's a little too far from the port, and it's as we've established prior to the entry of some of you into the game. Like North Ward is like upper middle class, so I think it's a little too rich for most sailors.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, typically it's lower nobility, aristocrats.
Like rich merchants, that kind of thing for sure.
Yeah.
We could get you in someone's
Well-
pocket.
I am technically a rich merchant. I could.
Yeah, it's too bad one of you doesn't have like a business where he sells like wines and scotches and
Yeah,
stuff to taverns.
like
I was just gonna make that connection
Oh,
there.
yeah,
It's like that in itself would be a pretty good conversation starter with Aldo.
I can talk to all. I can. What's your father's name again?
Kalen.
Kalen. So I can ask for Kalen because I heard he was the one that ran the place.
Hmm.
And if Aldo's the one behind the bar, I'll be talking to him directly.
But
and
that
we'll
also
learn a little
throws
bit.
out the idea of being an old friend. If the place has been open for 20 years, you show up with your own business 20 years later, sounds hinky.
I think the
I don't know.
business is a better.
Yeah, just stick to the
I
business
think,
deal.
I think business is better.
Yeah.
Then we
And,
don't have to worry about his father flubbing things up because he doesn't
And-
know him.
I don't have to actually do any lying. But because I kind of have all this stuff ready to sell wine to your inn or other inns in this city.
But the brandy is better.
Yes, it is. Wait,
What? What are you talking about?
when did you have the brandy? I just look at him really like eyes narrowing.
I slowly reach back to the bag and pull out a bottle of brandy and hand it over. You're not getting the wine, though.
Fine, you can keep the wine. Thank you for giving this back.
How much of it is left?
Valem, what
I
would you
have
like
no-
us to do in the meantime if they're going to try and find an inn? To your inn.
I'm gonna do what I recommended. I'm gonna send a message to Alistair, to Asher, and to my father. Once Alistair returns, the rest of us might try looking for. Her name's Miyaki.
Miyuki.
Miyuki. Yeah, I think the rest of us might try looking for her.
I would like to actually go to the bar just because I can. I have the most discreet form of communication. No one can hear me. Besides the person I'm talking to.
I have message too.
I have permanent telepathy.
Mm,
Do you have a
Fan.
live entertainment at your inn?
It depends on the night. They'll have stuff in the evenings, but
Perhaps I need a job.
that's not a bad idea as well. Viz.
I can get out at a moment's notice no matter what. It's fairly safe to stay there, for me.
Okay.
All right, so
So Belly and Reginald and Alton are going to the bar? To the restaurant, rather?
yeah,
I think
maybe
we're
not
gonna,
together.
Yeah.
Maybe me and Alton will go together.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
gonna say
know.
you
like-
have halflings working for you anyway.
Yeah,
so
and if
Yeah.
you're a sailor, you could be like the guy. Like,
does your shipping.
yeah,
And
Well, yeah,
gonna-
I'm on behalf of my captain, of course.
Of course.
I'm also gonna make a pit stop to get some stuff to disguise myself, maybe. Like, fake
So
tanner.
we're not going to the brothel, right?
yes,
No.
let's go.
No.
No, quite frankly, I think we're just gonna get the same runaround that we did with Kira. I don't think I don't think the madam's gonna be interested in helping us.
Okay. Okay, good.
Not to mention,
So
they will know us there, and I don't want to.
Oh, they won't know me.
Well, they'll definitely know me.
they won't know me.
Yeah, we stayed behind with your sisters that night.
Do the two of you want to
No.
go to the brothel?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Come on,
Alan
back
watches
a
this back and
little.
forth, like his
I
head swiveling
did.
between the two of them.
I'm sure Asher would be interested to know you've gone to a brothel.
Yeah. No. Just no.
You might learn something.
I don't need to learn anything, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Learned all I needed to.
Oh, really? I'm sure I could teach you some things.
She is so beat red. I'm not going to a brothel. Lest I be
Come
sold.
on, they're fun.
They're not that bad. They're like a bar.
They are. They're
Disgusting.
fun.
I played music
Ghost
in a
took
couple
me to
of
one
them.
once. It was fun.
I didn't do that, but I've been in a couple of them.
I'm not interested.
Just pretend it's like a normal bar. Just,
No. I don't
the
do good
buttons.
at normal bars either.
Well, maybe you should. You do seem to get drunk enough.
Have you seen her drunk?
Hungover. multiple times.
She's only drank twice, to my recollection,
Since.
since Bellion's been in
Yeah,
party.
she was hungover twice. He's
No.
done with it.
Oh, come on, Beth.
Because the first time was when she got laid by Quill, and then she had some drinks
Bellion
at the
will be
dinner party.
there.
She hasn't had anything to drink since.
And with Hayden the first time, too.
No, she wasn't
No.
drunk with Hayden the first time.
No.
They went to gelato and then
Yeah.
went home.
Oh, that's right. That was the gelato. That was the
Yeah, she
gelato
didn't get
one.
drunk off
Yeah.
gelato.
Yeah, gelato drunk. It's a thing.
That would be awesome, but I don't think they make it with alcohol. Okay, now I need to make something.
Okay, so Celinda and Elizabeth are going to the brothel.
No!
Yes.
Bellion is going to the tavern separately, though, from Reginald and Alton. Valem, you're sending messages. Is there anything physically, like a place you want to go or anything like that?
Not for the time being, especially based on the message I just got back from Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she's looking for us, then I just want to be stationary, not running around.
Okay.
All right. So, what now?
Oh, by the way, Celinda, you get to hold the cloak for a while. Have fun.
Really?
Okay, so
She puts it on immediately.
okay. So why don't we start with Bellion? So you make your way to the Old Fox. At this point, like, I'll let you guys decide because you could have been planning for God knows how long. What time do you want it to be?
I would have gone probably as soon as possible, so it's before evening, before, like, nighttime festivities
before the
would start.
rush.
Yeah. Try to make sure that, if they have no spot open tonight, I could be playing.
Okay. Reginald and Alton, how long do you wait after he leaves to go?
I wait on Reggie's orders on this one.
Maybe like a half hour.
Okay. Sure. All right, so Bellion, describe your approach.
I will just calmly and proudly walk directly in while carrying my horn in my hand. Everything's, tucked away. Not wearing the armor for once. Actually change into the actual traveler's clothes. Look like an actual entertainer, performer for once. And pretty much just open the door like it's any other place.
Okay. Yeah, so you enter the tavern, and it's well constructed. Like, as you come upon it, it's well constructed. I think it's 2 floors, Valem. Is it more than 2?
It's 2 stories.
Okay, yeah, it's 2 stories tall. It's quite large. It's very well put together. It's in really good shape physically. It's an attractive building, and it's in a nice part of town. There's maybe even like a park nearby. You see a lot of people moving, through the city. People starting to take evening strolls. People shutting down shops, things like that. I mean, even at this time of day, it's nice out. People want to get finished early. And you enter into the tavern, and there you see a number of tables. There's already a lot of people sitting there, and as you come in, a kind of maybe nervous-looking middle-aged man, maybe a little older than middle-aged, in fact, kind of approaches you. He has what appears to be a sling on his left arm, like wrapped around his shoulder. He comes up to you. He says, good day, sir. Would you like a table?
Does he look familiar?
Yeah. I mean, I think Valem described his family,
Yeah.
you believe that this is Valem's father.
Okay. I just go, no, I'm not looking for the table. I'm actually looking for work. I am wandering entertainer. I'm far from home, and I could use the money, so I'm looking for the various inns that could possibly be,
Oh, right.
looking
Well,
for
we don't have a stage here. We don't have a.
Oh, that is not the problem. I play music in a corner. That's not the problem. May I speak to the boss?
Oh, I own the restaurant here. It's mine. I do
Okay.
appreciate a good song and dance, of course, as everyone does. But yeah, it's it's going to be a slow night. You won't make any money. Maybe come
would-
back before the weekend.
I would perhaps like to at least try. I mean, at least audition for the evening. I'll see if people will enjoy it.
No, I'm sure you look quite the part. And like you're starting to notice a couple of the people at the tables have taken notice. And and they're like I said, this place is surprisingly packed. Like for this hour.
Yeah, I got you.
And yeah, a man kind of turns around. He says, "Oh man, come on now." He said, "I could use some music. Can you use some music, boys?" And like a couple of the other people kind of turn around, like none of them smile or anything, but they all just kind of nod. And the man that you recognize as Valem's father says, "Oh, right, of course. I mean, music. Yes. I mean, who doesn't want good music? What's your standing rate?"
Well, you will have to pay me. I will work for tips. So usually I take tips from that. Do you have a standard rate though? If it's not late, I'm not the problem with that. That's what I'm used to, though.
Well,
Most
it's just
places I
that you
work
look a
what they
little
give me.
rich for my blood. I don't think I can afford your
A
services.
little
at all.
rich. Oh, I look rich. I'm wearing just normal clothing. How about this? How about you sit down with these people, you have a drink yourself. You seem a little nervous. Don't know why. I'm pretty good with some people. I play a nice tune for you, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
It's all right, of course. Go set up, please. Go set up. I'll be right back. And like you see him like scuttle off in the direction of a separate kind of room off to the side.
Yeah.
And there you see a woman, maybe about his age, who appears to be like peering around the corner to try to figure out what's going on. And he kind of like looks to her. There's a brief conversation, and they both disappear into the room.
Is that mother?
It is Valem's mother.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, the man that you heard speaking, he kind of turns his chair. He says, "Right, man. You look kind of unfamiliar, like you're not from around here. You got a name?"
Yes, my name is Bill.
Right. That's
pleasure
kind
to
of a
meet you.
strange name, man. You're probably from some sort of weird, strange land, but that's all right. It's all right. He said, you better play good though, man. He said, I like to dance, and you ain't got good dancing music, man. We're gonna have a problem, huh? And he like
Oh, we
gives you
live
this like
amazing.
really this really sly grin.
Oh yeah, I got you. I go and sit up in the corner, and I pull out the horn and get ready to play some music, and I'll just sit there and play for him. And I'll do upbeat music, like get
Yeah.
people moving and drinking.
And nobody's moving at all.
Well, they were still drinking. It's all good.
Well, they're not really drinking heavily. That's not what's going on here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'll pay attention though to what they're doing.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit.
There's a few of them where they're like playing cards and there's some conversations going on. A lot of these tables, people just appear to be like sitting, not eating, not really drinking. Like they might have a beer in front of them that they sip occasionally, but it's definitely not where like people are pounding drinks.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a definite vibe that these are not normal customers. Yeah, I get you.
Okay. So some time passes and you're playing some music and nobody's getting up to dance. And then half an hour or so passes. Reginald and Alton, how do you make your approach?
So I've taken some of the wines out of my bag of holding it into my regular backpack, so it doesn't, or my regular sack, so it doesn't look like I'm pulling them out of a tiny pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Not obvious that I have a bag of holding, and then I'll just head up and open the door.
And as we're walking in, I'm going to be looking at him going, well, the captain wants to make sure this is worth their while. So if we don't get a big enough order from the various inns, let us know. We'll give you a name, but she only wants large orders.
Okay. Yeah. And so you guys come in and you're like having this little conversation.
I'm certain we can find enough establishments to make this worth your captain's while.
Okay.
So am I. I've had your wine.
And so, yeah, like you guys start to come in, and a middle-aged or slightly older woman approaches the door, who we recognize as Valem's mother, and she comes over and says, "Oh, hello, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of seats here right now. If you could maybe come back later."
That's fine. I'm not actually looking to stay here. I'm looking for a man named Kalen. I believe he's the proprietor of this estate.
Well, yeah, he's my husband. But
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
Miss
Miris.
Iris.
And who might you be, sir?
My name is Reginald, and I I've come to talk about a business deal for you.
Yeah, and when you say your name, her eyes go wide very briefly, and then she like catches herself. She said, "Oh, right. I believe we were expecting you." And then the man close to the door kind of turns. He says, "You were expecting somebody. Come on now. See, you should be expecting everybody." He said, "This is a mighty fine restaurant." He said, "Hello, sir." He said, "Welcome to the Old Fox." He said, "What brings you into town?"
Business. I'm got a little vineyard down near Baldur's Gate, and we produce quite a delicious wine.
He said, "Baldur's
Seeking to
Gate, you say?
expand up
That's
here.
it's quite a way south of here. Must have taken you quite a bit of time."
It was a long voyage, but and I'm not really much for sea travel, but hopefully it'll be worth it.
Oh, I heard that, man, yeah. He said, I don't do so well on boats. And he kind of looks you out and then gives you a little nod. He said, that life ain't for me.
It's an acquired skill.
He said, "I bet it is. Well, I hope I can share a drink with you fellas later on tonight."
So maybe some of if we can close a deal here, maybe some delicious wines of the Ramsbottom Vineyards.
All right. Kind of turns
And
back.
the sailor never turns down a drink, so absolutely, sir.
So, because I'm blanking, John. I'm sorry. What's your mother's name?
Blank.
Sorry, muted. Isabel.
Isabel. Okay. Yeah, so Isabel kind of says, "Well, Kaylin just went upstairs. If you want to have a seat, I'll find a table for you, and I'll bring him downstairs." And she kind of like leads you back. There's like a separate back room to this restaurant. So there's like the main room, and then there's a room kind of off to the back where you might see like a table for like games. Like there might be darts or kind of like a snooker table, that kind of thing.
There's a pool table.
That's what snooker is. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so she brings you back, and there's a couple of smaller tables. She says, "If you could just have a seat here, I'll be right back."
Of course, and then I'll pull out a couple of the bottles of wine.
Okay.
And set them on the table and sit and wait.
Okay, sure.
And some of the paperwork too.
Okay. So yeah, you guys kind of sit there and you're just kind of taking it all in. And there is kind of a wall that sits between this room and the other. There are two doors. There's two ways into this back room. So you can kind of see out into the main room, but some of it's blocked off from you. But you see, basically what's been described is there's just a number of people sitting. Nobody seems to be eating. Maybe people are barely touching their drinks. There's Bellion off to the side who's playing his music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Selenda and Elizabeth, are you going to the brothel?
I have another quick question.
Yep.
Does this scene before me of these people remind me of the same type of people that were in the inn at the Rat Queen? But no, I mean like they're all part of the same.
Like the same clique?
Yeah, like they're all together, and they're all like, because I feel like at the Rat Queen there would have been a lot of people that were customers in quotations, like, but were really just there to help defend the place.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, all these people, like they don't appear to be talking. Like like one table of people, like a couple, 2 or 3 people are at a table talking to one another, maybe having like very casual conversation, but they're not talking to other people. So it's kind of hard. Like they all look like fairly normal folk. They're all dressed like nobody's dressed like you might see a couple of people who appear like one person or two, maybe a couple of people have like weapons, but nobody's like nobody necessarily looks to you right off the bat like. I don't know how to explain this.
Okay,
Conrad.
so that guy that was talking to me when I first came in, I'm gonna spend a minute observing him for Know Your Enemy. Which is a battle master thing I get.
Okay. All right. I will look that up in the book.
It's okay. So you tell me if the creature is my equal, superior, or inferior in regard to. I get to choose 2 of these things: their strength, dex, con, AC, HP level, or fighter class level. So I want to know his. If his level is equal, superior, inferior to mine.
His level is superior to yours.
superior to mine, and if his let's see. I guess if his current HP is superior, inferior, or level to mine.
I have to actually look at what's your HP?
I've got 60.
Superior.
Okay.
How do I have 10 more HP than you?
Because you've got 2 extra buffs per level.
And you're higher level than he is, too.
Yeah, and I'm a
Right,
level
I am
behind you. I'm only
Yeah.
level 7.
Okay, so you guys kind of, get settled in, and you're observing the bar, and Bellion's observing the bar. And Elizabeth and Selenda,
Mhm.
are
At
you
this
still
rate-
arguing about going to the brothel, or?
Probably. I mean,
I imagine
Valem,
Beth's getting dragged while Celinda goes.
is Valem like? Did Valem want to like nix the idea of going to the brothel?
I didn't want to go myself.
I
But if
mean,
you
Because-
stay outside in case we get into trouble, which will happen.
maybe.
I should have left him at 10.
I mean, it's up to Valem. If Valem wants us to pull out of this idea, then that's fine. If not, Sil will drag Beth with her if she has to.
So, Linda, you have message, yes?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I have to be within like 30 feet of that, don't I?
I think so.
Mhm.
I think I have to see you or know where you are.
You can go through
Yeah.
walls, I thought. with
Around,
it, of a
you
certain-
can go around corners through cracks, like not through a
I believe
wall, but
I
it can go
do
over a
have
wall.
to at least know where he is, though.
Yeah, if you know he's on the other side of a wall, and
It's
you
a
can,
thin wall. Like, it has to be a fairly...
Yeah.
It can't be a super
or
thick
or
It's,
it,
it's got
it can go around to
120
a crack.
It's got
Yeah.
120 feet on it.
Well, I don't want to stand by a door in case someone walks in or out. So I'll stand, I guess, on the side of the building, and I'll give you an idea, like where I'm going to be, kind of thing.
All right. Yeah, I can.
So, like,
I can
halfway
message
between-
around.
Along the side of the building.
Maybe there's a little shop next door or nearby.
Okay. All right. So Elizabeth and Selenda, you head into the brothel, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
guess.
it's what time do you want to go in? It's your call.
Assuming we split shortly before evening so they could get. Where's the brothel in regards to the inn? It's like a 20-minute walk, I think,
It's-
last time.
Yeah, it's because the inn is basically dead center of North Ward. I think we described it as being further down south down here. So yeah, it would definitely be at least a 20-minute walk.
Okay, so we'll probably leave at the same time and get to there again, kind of split uneven timelines. That's what I figure. So we go in shortly before shortly after Bellion reaches the inn, and before Reginald and Alton get there. Oh God, all my A's are getting confused.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you walk in, and it's still like mid-afternoon when you enter. And the place looks like it's been recently refurbished. It's decent enough. I mean, you're definitely moving into a poorer area of town, so it's definitely not going to look as nice as the North Ward, for example. They've put, like there's like velvet drapes. They're definitely not the cleanest or nicest velvet drapes, but they're passable. The place immediately, like as soon as you walk in, it's slightly dark inside, but there are candles lit almost everywhere. There's a nice like thick rug, but wide open kind of parlor as you come in, and you hear kind of a small bell chime as you enter in, and a woman who is a little on the heavy side kind of comes through a door straight in front of you. And as soon as she opens the door, like she kind of almost abruptly stops.
Beth does her best to look surly and like a bodyguard of Celinda kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, and she looks to you and she says, "Oh, well, hi there.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Forgive my rudeness. I'm Madame Celeste. It's nice to make your acquaintance." And she kind of like walks over to you.
puts her hand out.
Okay, and yeah, Celeste grabs your hand, her meaty palm, and gives you a good firm shake. She says, I'm sorry, I'm a little taken aback at this time of day, and two beautiful ladies such as yourself, if you don't mind my saying. Um, were you looking for some companionship?
Um, I was looking to loosen up my friend here, and she
Yeah, and like a
did that.
couple of young women have started to kind of like walk to like the balcony that sits above the stairs, and they're kind of looking down. Um, and Celeste says, "Oh well, honey, I don't really rent rooms like that. I mean, I admit I'm a little confused about what it is you're after. Do you want one of my girls for her? Or I mean, I've
Um,
got
I understand you rent men as well.
I do have a young gentleman. If that's
It's really not necessary.
and yes,
Yes, it is,
Celeste kind of like
dear.
when you say that, Elizabeth Celeste like gets this wide smile on her face. She says, "Oh, honey, it's not necessary, but it sure is fun."
Lady, this is a terrible idea. Am I seeing anybody I recognize in the lineup that's coming out?
Oh no, no.
Okay.
But you have noticed that like off to the side of the kind of foyer, there's like a parlor room, and a youngish man, probably like in his early 20s, kind of saunters up to the opening between these rooms, and he's actually wearing some armor, and he's wearing a sword and shield. He's not wearing them particularly well, but he is wearing them. He's got some armor. It is by no means clean or shiny, but he looks like a young lad, and he just kind of walks over, puts his hand on the hilt of his sword, and Celeste kind of looks at the two of you to see how you respond to him.
Oh, is he for sale?
And like you see him physically, like his whole body stiffens up. He says, "Excuse me, lady." He said, "I
Mhm.
am a knight." He said, I am not to be rented. I don't, I do work here,
You're
but I
in a
don't."
brothel, dear.
I'm actually going to turn to Celinda and, yeah, a knight. And she kind of does little air quotes, like some female banter.
Yeah, and he looks like a little offended. And Celeste walks over to him and kind of pats him on the hand. She says, "Oh, honey, it's all right. Don't need to get yourself all worked up." And he says, "I'm just doing my duty, ma'am." She says, "Of course you are, baby. Of course you are." She kind of like looks like turns her head to the two of you and gives you like a gentle little smile. She said, "Honey, why don't you go back, sit down, play cards?" She said, "I'll call you if I need you." He says, he like still like his whole body stiffened. He's like, "Yes, ma'am." He turns around and like walks back into the parlor. And Celeste looks at the two of you. She says, "I'm
Hmm.
sorry about that, ladies. It's we've had some trouble lately. I decided to just to hire on a hand, to
Oh, you
when
had
such
trouble.
well, honey, it's a brothel, and sometimes people get a little rough. That's particularly like I like serving women, and if you two want to rent a young gentleman." And she kind of like turns up and she like snaps her fingers at one of the young girls who's still
You
staring
sure
over.
he's not for rent?
"Oh no,
Lady,
no, baby, he's not." And
it's
she
bad
kind of
enough
like
he's
leans.
working in a place like this.
Yeah, she leans into you and she says, "You wouldn't want him anyway, baby. He seems rather inexperienced, in my opinion." She kind of gives you a wink.
But but sometimes that can be fun.
"Well, yeah, no, I don't think that's what you're after." She said, "Just give me a moment. I've got a young gentleman. He's just gonna probably throw his shirt on." And she kind of like looks up to the balcony to see like what's going on if someone's like retrieving, somebody to come see you.
Can I follow her eyes to see if I can catch who she's looking after?
Well, she's just looking up like someone. She's expecting one of her girls to go retrieve the young man to bring him back. And so yeah, the girl sort of disappears, and there's like you hear some noise coming from upstairs.
You said there was trouble here recently?
Well, honey, like I said, it's a brothel, and that sort of stuff happens. It's totally safe here, I promise. As you can see, I've got
What happened?
well, it's some dirty business, and you don't need to. That's not girl talk. It's all right, honey. I know
What
you're. And
happened?
she looks at you. She says, "I know you're nervous, baby." And she looks at you. Selena gives you a wink. She's like, "It's all right. Everybody has to, first time for everything." And she's like looking up,
Try not to laugh.
like anxiously at the balcony to see what the hell is taking so long. Um,
I
She
don't
said,
want anything to do with dirty business. She says this with a straight face because she's thinking about the murder that she knows of, but she doesn't get the double entendre.
yeah, and Celeste kind of just glares at you for a second. She says, "This is not proper conversation, baby. It's okay. Just breathe a moment, please. Would you like a
She's a
drink? I
little
can pour
morbid.
you a sherry. I got some white wine that I think still tastes fine. Is there something I can get you? Something maybe to eat? Get your energy up?"
I'm just gonna glare at Celinda like, are you really gonna make me do this?
I think she'd love a glass of wine.
Excellent. All right. Perfect. Give me just a moment. And she turns and like walks back into the through the door you saw her come in through.
I shove Celinda. What are you doing?
Your face!
What do you expect me to do here? Again, this is all like softer through gritted teeth, while Celeste is otherwise occupied.
Celinda, she's got her hand up to her mouth, so she's not like openly giggling, but she's totally giggling. She's like, "Come on."
What are we gonna do? Like,
No.
get the guy in a room and slam him for information? Aren't these people treated horribly enough? What are you laughing about?
my!
Yeah, you're gonna slam him for information.
Oh,
I know,
God.
I had to. Shut up.
Well, you
Great.
can, but I'm not going to.
I'm but what am I gonna do with you?
Ah, you love me, and you know it.
I'm really starting to fucking hate you.
She just kind of like pats her gently, like, just calm down. We'll
Yeah.
be fine.
And so you guys are having this conversation. I think the door wing like opens pretty wide, and Celeste is backing through it.
And Beth tries to pull down the whole surly thing again. Just
Okay.
instantly. Though she's still blushing, which is probably her ire has only made that worse.
And so you see Celeste
that as you
backing
will.
up, and she begins to turn, and she's got a tray in her hand where she's got a couple glasses of wine. And like as the door swings wide open, you see another man in what you believe now to be the kitchen, and he's got like a knife, and he's picking at his teeth. Like it looks like a dagger or like maybe a throwing knife, and he's using it to clean his teeth. And like right as like you look and you see the door start to swing closed, he looks up and he gives the two of you a wink, and then the door closes. And Celeste turns and she's got her glasses of wine. She says, "Well, here you are. I filled them a little, maybe too full, but I thought that was for the best." And Celinda, she gives you like another little wink, and she hands you the two wine glasses. She says, "I'm sorry it took so long, but I think my gentleman is coming down now." And she kind of turns to look up the stairs, and you see that there's a man. He's probably in his like early 40s. He's not in great shape, and his hair's thinning on top. He is clean shaven, and he like looks down and he's wearing like a light cotton shirt and put like a pair of light cotton pants. He's dressed decently well. And she looks up. She says, "Well, not much to look at, I know, but I promise you he will impress. Thomas, why don't you come down here?"
Nope. Beth turns to leave. Nope. I'm not doing it, lady.
Do you have anything younger?
"Well, I'm looking for another younger gentleman," and she kind of like waves Thomas away, and he like
I
stops.
thought you liked older men, Beth.
And she just stops, turns.
And
One time.
Celeste says, "Honey, I do apologize, but it's hard these days finding good work. They only last maybe a couple days, but like I said, I mean Thomas, he I promise you he will impress. He's good with his
Who's
hands."
the man in the and Beth kind of shifts her, eyes towards the kitchen, and who's the man in there with the knife? I like a dangerous man if you're gonna offer me anything.
"Oh, honey, he's just a chef. He does the cooking. That's why he's got a knife."
To his teeth. Is that sanitary?
Well, he doesn't use that knife on the food. And there's a reluctance, like a hesitation, where she's obviously thinking about it. She's like, "Yeah, no, honey, that's his teeth knife. He don't use it on the food." But listen, I mean, I know maybe I don't know, of course, and I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I do have my girls, and I got some younger ones, and they're mighty clean. I see to it myself.
I'm gonna look her up and down. How clean is she?
Like, not like this. Like I said, it's not. This is not a wealthy place. Like, she's clean for the area.
What it is. Yeah.
I was hoping you had something younger. I heard you'd had a younger man.
Well, like I said, ma'am, we've had some, but they come and go. The girls, they're good workers. Young men, I tell you,
Why
they're.
exactly did he come and go? That seems weird.
Well, I don't mean to be, to presume that I know about his mind. I mean, he came in, worked for a couple days, and then, he found his way out. I do miss him. He brought us some good work for a few days, and, it is
She's
what it is.
lying to me.
Yeah, insight check.
Yeah, each of you can make an insight check.
I mean,
Boom!
we kind of know she's lying.
Yeah, you
to
don't
us,
really need to
but-
make the insight check, but yeah, Elizabeth, like she's clearly lying. Like she's holding way back. She's doing a pretty good job of it. I mean, she's a charismatic woman, but you already have enough information to go on here that like this is reasonably not the truth.
I don't like being lied to, ma'am.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It is what it is, but if there's nothing else I can do for you, maybe you might find your way out then. She's still kind of smiling though, like she's still polite about it.
Can I get anything else off my insight read in that to the effect of like, okay, hang on a second here. I want to see if I can glean from that insight check if she is a willing participant in the trouble, essentially, because we were told that by the girl that when the time came for Ibrahim to get his shit kicked out of him, that the usual bouncers vanished. So is she like a willing participant? Jeez.
Are you
In
asking?
this-
Are you? You're asking a nebulous question. Are you asking if like
she
she's
has something to do with it.
well? Again,
Yeah.
that's. I don't think you realize that there's a vagary implied in that. Are you asking if like she gave him up? Are you asking if she like the problem here is extent. Like you don't know the circumstances. So like was she involved? Yes. The extent to which you have no way of knowing. Like you don't understand her motivations, her reason for doing it. All you know is like from what Kira told you, it seems like Celeste, let it happen.
Okay.
What about you, lady? Are you up for the night?
Oh, honey, I haven't worked in a good many years. I think, you can see I enjoy a glass of wine more than I enjoy man. She said, well, I don't mean to be rude, ladies, but time is money, and I got some cleaning to do, and I need to teach Thomas how to put his clothes on faster, obviously, so if y'all don't mind. She kind of like gestures to the door.
How much is Thomas?
Well,
Beth just gives a heavy sigh.
I know you like old men, dear.
and she
Don't give
says,
me that
well,
face.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think you're genuinely interested in Thomas at this point, so if it's all the same to you, I think I'm just going to ask you to leave.
Told you it was a bad idea.
I guess.
There's better places on the north side.
Places that don't lie to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're leaving, I'd actually like to look around to see if anybody's taken particular interest in this whole exchange.
So, yeah, I think as you're going to leave, you see that that young knight has sort of like re-entered the scene, and I think like as you turn to look, and Celeste is going to wave you off and bid her farewells to you. I think that as you're leaving, you see some motion near the top of the stairs, and you see the kind of up the stairs. You see what looks to be like a huge creature. Like, roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Elizabeth, you definitely see as you're going to leave, you kind of see this movement up at the top of the stairs, and what you see is a large man, 6'7", 6'8", 300 plus pounds.
I see the mountain.
He looks about like this, except he's completely naked. He is absolutely covered in ink. It's all blue and very tribal looking. His hair is wild and kept in braids. He is
Please
unarmed,
tell me she points him out too, Celinda.
and he's just standing there staring down. And like as you guys are leaving the door, you see two young girls kind of come up and like start to pull his arms back away from the stairs.
Beth will pause to look up at him and meet his gaze to try and get some kind of read off of him. Is he? Yeah, I guess is he? Did he take interest in the conversation, or is his attention pulled by something else?
I mean, he seems to have entered the scene just to see what was going on.
Shut up, Bela.
Inspiration for the pun work. Good job.
Boom.
Boy.
But yeah, he just enters the scene to watch the two of you leaving, basically, and these two young girls start kind of pulling him away.
All right, I'm gonna glance at the guard.
The knight.
The knight that's entered the scene, and just kind of wink at him and walk out.
Okay. Yeah, he just sort of cocks an eyebrow as you guys disappear out into the street.
And I'm gonna shove Celinda again. That was stupid and a waste of time.
It was
And that man
fun,
was
though.
terrifying.
What man?
No, no, because then you're gonna want to go back in.
What?
No. Moving on.
What?
No, I'm
I'm
gonna go
going
around the
back in.
corner. I'm walking away and going to Vale around the corner. I'm sorry, that was a terrible waste of time.
She's lying. She's a horrible woman. She is a very horrible woman.
Who, Celeste?
What do
Well,
you
you-
think you found out?
That she let Ibrahim get murdered. That's about the worst of it. Other
I
than
don't
that,
think that Kira said that he was murdered. She said he wasn't left whole.
that's
She
making
didn't
her own
say she was
assumptions.
murdered. Yeah, I don't think he's dead, Beth. I think
Do you think he's being held back there, like flayed?
I don't know, but Kira didn't say he was murdered. Kira said he wasn't left whole.
The only man they offered was like old, and she kind of like curled her lip.
She acted like he'd left. She was obviously lying to us. And then when we mentioned something about him, she kicked us out.
Well, you
Yeah.
mentioned something. I didn't want to be quite so
I
obvious.
called her on her lying and she kicked us out.
And they have a beast in there.
What?
I
I'm going back in. And she turns around.
I'm
I
gonna
wanna
grab
see.
at her. He's tall. And she pauses and just turns red. He is big, and he's terrifying. He's a beast of a man. Why they need that in there, I don't know.
The question is it new? What? Or is it?
I mean, he wasn't offered, so he doesn't work there. He might just be a patron that was. I don't know. But I'm not
Does
going
he
back in there.
work
Don't make me
there
go back
as-
in there. And I'm grabbing Valem at this point.
Well, if he was a patron, he wouldn't have wasted his time away from the girls. If you're saying that he was interested in you two,
He
The
took interest in
question is-
the conversation.
based on Kira's explanation, I doubt he was there defending the place when those people
Perhaps.
showed up.
Could he be Zentarum?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Aren't there supposed to be like sneaky bastards, not like behemoths?
They have all kinds. That's
It takes
depends
all
on what they're
kinds,
needed
Beth.
for.
Okay, so you guys all, where are you headed after?
Well, is
Well,
Celinda
but-
actually going to go back in to ask after him?
No. These are big butts.
We kind of need to go back where we're all going to be able to get back to one another.
Perhaps we should go back to where we split up.
Yeah.
Has the guard like followed out or anything? Do I if I
Nope.
peek out around the corner? No.
Nobody follows you at all.
Okay.
Can I message him?
Message who?
The
Good night.
Tonight.
If you're within 120 feet, and I mean theoretically, I guess.
Can I message him to ask him if he'd meet us outside?
Yeah, you can message him that.
All right, so just message him. You meet me outside, please.
And I think the message you get in return is, is this one of those things? Oh, you can, it can reply. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reply you get back is effectively something like, "What foul treachery is this? I will not abandon my duty."
What is your duty exactly?
Begone, witch. Begone. I will summon all of my strength to defeat thee. Should you not leave
Oh
at
my
once?
God, you are such a nerd! And she just prayed.
Okay. All right.
What's a nerd?
So you guys head back. In the meantime, I think like probably like an hour or maybe two has passed, or an hour or two passes. Bellion, what are you doing aside from still playing your horn, blowing your
Well,
horn?
I'll probably change it to more adventurous music, like probably straight fucking Indiana Jones music, and actually started using minor illusion to make like images and things like that.
Okay.
Like of great adventure right above my head.
Okay. And I think what happens like as the late afternoon turns into early evening, other people start to float into the bar. Again, these just look like patrons, folk from around the neighborhood who often frequent the Old Fox. And the man that you guys spoke to that comes in, the Southern man, he he greets them as they come in, kind of like fakes doffing his cap to them, and they all come in and smile and laugh at his jokes and what have you. And people come in and sit down, and Isabel and Kaylin come out and they begin to take people's orders and bring these people drinks. And you do notice that the other people who have already been in here for a while start to kind of animate a little bit. Like they actually start to order food and maybe like order some drinks. Some of them start like actually playing cards, and there's like jovial conversation between them.
So it's a noticeable shift.
It seems kind of
dynamic.
strange, yeah, but like people are starting to filter in and what have you.
Does this feel like a second shift, maybe more than a normal inn?
This seems to you to just be folks coming into the restaurant.
Good. Okay.
And you do actually about this time, what you guys presume to be one of Valem's sisters comes downstairs. She kind of wraps an apron around and she starts going around and serving people, and she starts to help her family.
So far, the only people we've seen working are, Valem's family. Those
Correct.
Mother, father, daughter. That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so one of his sisters, starts to move around, and Kaylin and Isabel, of course, keeps disappearing in the kitchen. She's doing a lot of the cooking, it seems. And the night seems to be evolving into like a normal night at a tavern. More of the locals filter in and are ordering drinks and what have you. Kaylin does make his way over to you, Reginald, as some people are filtering in. He says, "I'm sorry. I understand that you wanted to speak with me. It's a busy night here. If you could make it quick, maybe just I do need to get back to the wife. I'm sure she wouldn't be none too pleased with me if I can't help her with the kitchen work."
Well, I would actually like to sit and chat with you a little bit first before.
Of course, right. Well, I don't have a lot of
And,
time. Maybe we could
take care of your patrons for right now. I'd like to see how busy this place gets and how well you manage it before.
Of course, absolutely. Is there anything I can get for you? Like a lamb or some roasted vegetables, perhaps?
Actually, a plate of roasted vegetables sounds quite delicious.
Oh, excellent. And for you, and he's out and he's speaking to you.
I too will have the plate of roasted vegetables. And Wine's a bit fancy for my taste. A glass of ale, please. Mug of ale.
Right away, of course. He like disappears back into the main dining room.
As he's disappearing, I'm going to mentally tell him that we can have a conversation, and no one will overhear.
Okay. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna do a thing here because he's not expecting this at all. And I think when he's walking out and you do this to him, he basically trips over a chair leg. Like he's so distracted by you speaking to his brain that he trips and falls onto the floor. And he slams into the ground and he sort of groans as his bad arm with whatever happened to it in the sling, he slams down against the ground. And
I'll get up and move to help him.
yeah, and I think what happens is like the other man, the southern man, kind of gets up as well, and the two of you meet him about the same time. And he says, "Oh man, it's all right. Don't worry. I'll take care of him." He said, "We're old friends, he and I." He said, "Quite the regular. Don't you worry about it, sir. Go have yourself a seat." And he like reaches down to help Kalen up.
Are you sure that looked like a bad fall, and I might have hurt his arm a little worse?
Oh well, he's quite a sturdy fella, aren't you, Kalen? Don't you worry about it, man. It's all right. And he sort of like helps Kalen, and he starts brushing him off, almost as if Kalen's a child. He says, "You're all right, Kalen, aren't you?" And Kalen like looks. He looks flustered, and looks like it probably hurt. He doesn't appear to have broken anything further. And he looks to you, Reginald. He said, "Oh no, I'm fine. Of course, I'm just clumsy sometimes. That's all." And the man says to you, Reginald. He said, "Yeah, sometimes he gets distracted. He says, "Gonna happen. We've been working on it, haven't we, Kalen?" He kind of like pats Kalen on the back, and Kalen like smiles and like gives him a nod. He's like, "All right, man." He said, "You need help, Kalen? I can help you in the kitchen. Come on." And he starts like walking with Kalen into the kitchen.
Invisi-O's, go!
You said he's a spider.
And he will no longer be a spider. He will be a invisible imp again. Shapeshifting's a wonderful thing.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So you send O's into the kitchen. And Belly, and you see this obviously. You see this interaction in the main room because that's where it happens, right? Do you do anything? Do you respond in any way?
I have more of an interesting thing. Do we hear something flying and scurrying around? Might get a little louder.
So here's the thing since you asked. So here's the thing that you notice, Belly, and specifically you're the one I think who's going to notice this. You see as O's transforms, and then of course you don't see this, like you can't know that this is happening, but you do see. Oh fuck yeah! You see two people in the room who like suddenly like there's a shift in their body language, and these are two of the people who have been here for like all day, and they sort of shift and like they kind of make eye contact, and they start to look around the room. They don't appear to like focus in on anything, but they definitely notice something.
I immediately play it louder, like as loud as I can. Just
Okay. Okay. Why don't you roll for me a performance check?
all right.
Okay. So yeah, you're playing. You start blaring on that horn. A couple of the new patrons start like stomping their feet. They're getting excited at the idea of somebody in here playing music for a change.
I start stomping a beat with them, be like, "Yeah, get up, get up."
And so, Alton, you I don't know if you see this, but like I think,
Did it just get loud in here?
well, you noticed the music. I'm wondering if you would have noticed what happened with O's, but probably not. Are you looking through his eyes, or are you letting him do his own thing?
Letting him do his own thing at the moment. I just want to get him in there so he can shapeshift back into an invisible spider and just literally be a fly on the wall, so to speak.
Well, be a spider on the wall, but yeah.
Yeah, well.
Okay. So yeah, so he kind of follows Kalen in with Isabel and the new man. And but you're not looking through him, so you don't actually know what's going on.
No, I'd go blank in that. I know there's too many people in here that would notice that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So there's a couple minutes where like something is going on in the kitchen, but like we don't see that because nobody has eyes on it. And Kalen kind of comes back out, and he looks put together, right? Like he's fixed the sling on his arm, and he looks put together and everything. And the man kind of comes out behind him, and the man is actually like holding a tray and starts like walking around and like serving some people, giving some ale and what have you. I think Bellion, he drops like a tall glass of water down in front of you and kind of looks at you, gives you a wink and a smile, like a nice
Yeah.
like a nod, like a hey man, you aren't gonna need this.
Take my free hand and give him a thumbs up.
Okay, yeah, he smiles at you. Goes back about his business. Meanwhile, are Elizabeth, Selenda, and Valem doing anything?
Maybe just talking at the moment.
Yeah, once we return back to the rendezvous point, again, I guess I'd be gazing around, trying to see if our contact is trying to make contact.
Yeah, have you heard back from anybody?
I heard back from everybody. Alistair basically said that he's not sure how we would get in touch with her, but she probably already knows we're here. Asher did ask about you, Elizabeth. Wanted to know if you were safe. I said yes. And then stated that it would take some time to get all the paperwork together to send back to Waterdeep.
And your father?
And, well, actually, my father never responded.
He never responded to you.
Of course, the message I sent was to kind of, not really
Right.
draw attention to himself.
So, how much time passes? Belly, and you're still playing, and Reginald and Alton, you guys are enjoying your roasted vegetables, and Alton, you have an ale. Like you guys tell me like how much at this point. It's probably like early evening, like 6 o'clock. How much time passes?
Well, I'm going to ask Oz what happened telepathically.
Okay, so yeah, Oz responds back. He says, "I don't know, boss. It was kind of weird." He said that guy, that human guy, he was being like real nice, like real nice. He was saying some stuff, just like telling him just to keep his stuff together and it's going to be fine, and yeah, he seems like a nice fella. I mean, the other humans, well, they're kind of dirty and greasy, but I did smell bacon back there.
All right. Thank you very much, Oz.
Okay. Okay, so can we fast forward maybe like a couple hours?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Elaine's
for
there
me.
all night. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, in case there's something anyone wants to do. In the meanwhile.
Actually,
If we found a place to go ahead.
that guy does stay out like the ringleader, right?
I mean,
Like
he's
the guy who keeps like talking to people as they come in, right? He's still there.
Yeah.
Like he came back out
Yeah. No.
during one break. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, during one break, grab a drink of water, just go, "Hey, what's your name?" He seems to be friends with everybody around here.
He said, well, "Mighty fine, of course, man. That's powerful rude of me. I do apologize. My name's Aldo. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Nice to meet you too. Now I gotta get back to work.
He's
Just
like, "Well,
making
now,
sure.
now, friend, come on." He said, "I ain't got your name."
I told you my name is Bill.
Oh, right, Bill. I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names. I do apologize about that, Bill.
It's okay. I don't mind that much.
He said, I got to tell you, man, I really been enjoying your playing. I know I ain't been dancing yet. I promise you before this night's done, you are going to see a show from my feet."
I'm sure I am.
He's like, "All right, man. Well, you get back to it. You need anything, man. You need a glass of water, something to soothe that throat. You let me know, all right?"
I got you.
He's like, "All right." Weird turn of phrase, but yeah, all right, man. Kind of pat you on the back as you like walk back to the stage.
Yep. All right. I don't drink the water.
Okay. So A couple hours passes and night begins to fall. It's like 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's basically dusk outside.
And then for that time, can I spend since we're there for a few hours? I'm gonna do the know your enemy on a couple other just of the people who have been there since we got there. And basically, I just want to know if they're all higher level than me, or if it just seems like he's the one that's superior in level.
So do me a favor. Here's how we're gonna play this. I think. Hold on. I should have. I wasn't expecting you to do this because, of course, why would I? So I'm gonna fix a thing here, and then I will. Oops. I will have you roll. I'm so glad I'm not streaming this game right now. Do. So roll me a d12.
D12. All right.
Okay.
Why don't we stream?
What?
Why don't we just stream?
One of these days. So the person that your eyes kind of fall on and you begin to watch, Reginald, what are your two questions?
I guess I want to know level and strength score.
Okay, so the person that your eyes fall on, kind of a bigger, burlier dude, does wear a sword, does have what appears to be some like maybe leather armor on. You level is inferior to yours.
Okay.
What is your strength score?
18.
What are the options on that again? Inferior, superior, and
yeah.
equal?
Is it above, below, or equal?
Equal. His strength score is equal to yours.
Okay.
And then roll me another d12, and if it's an 11, we'll just re-roll. But okay, 4. Okay. Same two questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Level is inferior. Strength is also inferior.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Sure.
During the downtime.
Yep.
Sorry, we find a place to kind of sit and wait for everybody else. Beth will pull out the parchment and the little kit that Sildara gave her and start penning a letter or three.
Sure.
Ready?
I also have a question.
I have an answer. I hope they match.
We'll see. During this course of, you said a few hours, correct?
Yes, like a couple hours, like 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours.
All right. With that in mind, is this considered time for me to, like, as a warlock, I recharge my spells on a short rest. Could I have been using sending without actually technically, like, burning spell slots? Like, once an hour to keep the rest of the group informed about what's going on?
Well, yes, but you will have to burn one. Well, like, yeah.
Just like one point during the course of the evening, would it have recharged since I sent a sending saying, watching the place, definitely filled with Zentarum?
I mean, yeah, theoretically, yeah. You could do that. I don't see why not. But
yeah,
I mean,
so I
like,
would have let Celinda know.
Okay, but it'll mean that, like, you can't, like, take an action to. I don't. Well, no, it's not a spell, I guess. Well, because a short rest, you'd have to actually be resting. So like you can do that and regain a spell slot, but I think it'll mean like you wouldn't necessarily for that hour be able to use O's. Like you wouldn't be able to see through his eyes because that's not resting.
Fair.
So like, but it's not. It doesn't really have any narrative effects. I'm just like if you try to do that again and you try, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I just want because we're spending hours here and we split the party. Right. I want the party to know that we're not dead.
Okay. All right. Sure. You can give them a sending. So who do you send that to?
Probably Celinda, just we're not dead. Place filled with Zentarum, still waiting for negotiation. Don't come looking.
Okay. She'll relay that. She's also going to talk to Balaam as well.
Does Celinda send anything back?
I don't think Celinda really has anything to send back. So
just a confirmation that it was message.
If you told me about it, I would ask them.
Okay.
See if he knows where they're keeping my family. Like if they're working, if they're coming from a specific place, if they're being held in a specific room, or maybe held in the kitchen or something like that. See if he can tell ultimately where they're being kept.
Are they being held anywhere specific?
like if they leave, if he can leave O's there, maybe invisible to see where they're being kept at night. If they're being isolated or if someone's with them all night.
Okay.
Try to say that in 25 words.
Okay.
Are they being kept anywhere specific, particularly at night?
Okay, I've received your message.
Okay. All right. So, does anyone else want to do anything before we like move the?
Well, I want to talk to Valem for a minute.
Okay.
Valem,
Yes.
you know Alistair pretty well compared to the rest of us. Yes?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on him? What do you think of him?
I'm gonna have to turn your volume up. You're whispering quite a bit.
Let me move my. She wants to know what he thinks of him.
Of who?
Alistair.
Oh. um. Alistair he's a wild card. I understand. Obviously, you're well aware he's a charismatic man.
Yes.
Charismatic
woman.
You are indeed.
20.
I don't want to make it my place on any decisions that you make romantically, but it's very similar to my situation here. I know that you are likely emotionally compromised while you're in Baldur's Gate due to the situation with your family. And I hope this isn't just something you're doing to fill the gap.
I hope so too.
Because he seems like a genuine guy, but yeah, he's a bit of a renegade.
You think he's a good man?
He seems to fit a similar mold of people you've met in the past.
He does.
And we have to learn from life's experiences. And hopefully that's what you're doing.
But at the same time, I can't be afraid either.
Yeah, I mean you only live once. YOLO. But you have to look out for number one. If you don't look out for yourself, then nobody else will. So just don't get in the habit of letting yourself be hurt.
Well, I understand it's dangerous.
Yeah. Just don't react off of lust. Maybe spend some time with them and see where it really goes.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really believe in love at first sight. So, I may not understand. Maybe it's a bad decision, but...
Well, if you enjoy yourself, it's never a bad decision. If you let the relationship overtake your life and control your decisions, then it becomes a bad situation. Just live in the moment. And like I said, don't allow yourself to get hurt. That's all.
I'll try. By the way, what the hell happened to you guys when you went to get my father? You came back all beat to shit.
When we went to get your father.
Yes, you came back all beat to shit.
Well, there was a bit of a wyvern problem in outside skirts of Baldur's Gate. It might be something we eventually have to go back and clean up again. We seem to have this terrible habit of leaving things
we probably should have
unfinished.
done that. If I had known that, I probably would have had us do that before we left.
Well, no offense, but this is definitely something I want to get resolved. So once your family was safe, I wanted to clean this up.
Perhaps when we're done with your family, we will fix this.
I'm keeping a list. I'm making a list of things that we might need to go back and clean up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it,
Well, you
and I
sound like you
think,
had an interesting time.
yeah, once we're finished here, we can probably tell you more about it. But yeah, that's one of those things we're gonna have to clean up.
You're not mad at me for anything, are you?
No,
Didn't
well,
come to dinner.
no. Uh, and so I messaged you that night. I just needed to find some time alone.
You
Um,
sure it wasn't something I did to upset you?
Not in any way, shape, or form. Again, I've known about my family being kept for a long time. I didn't want you guys to worry about it. We were already dealing with your family. So once we got your parents back, it really kind of hit me that we were now going to have to face this situation here.
Well,
Um,
you
I
don't
did.
really.
I spent the early morning speaking with Lathander to see guidance on what could be done here. I really just needed time on my own.
All right.
I assure you, it had nothing to do with you. Um, my sincerest apologies if I made you feel that way.
I was just worried. I
Yeah.
know Beth and I were a little selfish that last couple of days.
No, again, everyone has their needs, and it's completely understandable.
Okay. So you guys are finishing up this conversation. You've been sitting out for, like I said, a couple of hours maybe. You're just kind of watching to the roofs and to the skies and just expecting some sort of contact. So I need all three of you, Reginald, or sorry, Jesus, Elizabeth, Selenda, and Valem, to roll me. All three of you roll perception checks, please. Well, actually, Elizabeth, you might not get to roll one. Doesn't
Okay.
matter. It doesn't matter. You failed anyway. So,
Yeah.
I think what happens is Elizabeth's off on her side, like off, on her own, writing her letter. Selenda and Valem, you guys are kind of finishing up having this conversation. Um, and Valem, you you feel someone like hard poking the back of your armor. Like just like impatiently, like poke, 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 poke. And you,
Are they trying to push a suppository into me?
I mean, only if that's what you want. But
Is that what
Sounds
Balaam's
totally advised for the butt.
so yeah, so you kind of turn around to look, um, and it's at this point like the sun is all but gone, and you turn to look, and there is a young woman. I'm on the wrong screen, and she looks about this. She's wearing all dark armor. She's got a hood up. She even has kind of a mask on her face. You can barely make out the fact that it's a woman. And she just looks at you and kind of cocks her head to the side and just like nods her head in the direction and then starts to walk off. Um, and why don't we take a break there?
Okay.
I
Okay. Why don't we take like, is everyone cool? I should stop the recording. Is everyone cool if we take like a 10